everybody and they're back on the seats and everything? Yes. Cool. All right. Oh, sorry, Maria has something to say. Where's Maria? Would you like to say? Oh, I just sorry.
Hello everyone, I'm just going to talk while I walk up there. Hello everyone, thank you for sticking around. I'm Maria, I'm the playwright, and I'm just so thankful to have you all here. Thankful for this wonderful, beautiful cast, and Pocket Theater VR, obviously. And I just want to say this play is based on true events, but I am a liar, so these events, these interactions might have happened, they might not, you know. You can guess what's happened and what hasn't. Have fun.
Crush, the one woman not really show.
It started with the podcast. You can still find it on Spotify or wherever if you want to check it out. It's all about crushes. Mainly my former crushes and their experiences with, you guessed it, crushes. I'm kind of obsessed with romance and love and relationships. Okay, who am I kidding? I'm not kind of obsessed. I'm extremely, to a concerning degree, obsessed. Quite recently, I've realized that my fixation on crushes is actually an unhealthy coping mechanism, a distraction that helps me ignore the very real problems in my life. Self-awareness, right? Have I done anything to change it? Not really. Instead, I decided to write this one-woman show that's not actually a one-woman show about it. Just to clarify, if you are expecting steamy scenes or the occasional one-night stand, you will be sorely disappointed because your girl is a virgin who is asexual and moderately sex-repulsed, but who does read badly written and inaccurate smut, so there's that. Unfortunately, or fortunately for you, that's not included in this particular performance. So overall, a pretty PG show. Hope you like it.
Actor runs up on stage with a fishbowl. They hold it out to Maria.
Oh, that's what I was forgetting. Chronological storytelling is so passé. Instead, in this unassuming fishbowl, we have some of the key players in my non-existent love life. It's random selection, baby.
Before grabbing a slip of paper, Maria moves around the stage a bit, anything to delay what comes next, before slipping her hand into the fishbowl. Chapter 1, Soulless Book.
So his real name is Redacted, and he's like my first major crush. All hard eyes and butterflies. We interacted a total of 2 times, maybe even less. Depends on what you count as an interaction, but he's kind of special to me, you know? Not redacted himself, but just what, in theory, he stands for. In high school, we called him Soulless Book, because as my ex-friend once said,
when I look in his eyes, I see nothing. It's almost like he has no soul.
and hence the name. It was a system that took us a while to perfect, the whole code words for crushes thing, because you see, we weren't just picking random words. There had to be some sort of correlation, some sort of theme. I'm not sure who came up with it, but I'll give said ex-friend credit.
What if crushes are books?
We were always at the library, so it made sense, okay? From then on, we talked about our books in what I hope was a discreet way, but I am 100% certain it was not.
You see the book, you pick up the book, you open the book, you read the book. Scandalous.
Oh. I never did read any books. Soulless Book. He was a book I admired from afar.
What about that time?
Renee! I'm the narrator. Got it? I narrate. You stick to the script.
Touché.
But than twice, but those other times I wasn't interacting with him as myself.
You suck at telling this story. You make it so boring.
And you can do better?
Let the people choose. Let the people choose who's the best storyteller. It's my turn. It started with a call. We used to prank call Ricardo.
Renee! You weren't supposed to say his name. There's a reason I haven't been saying his name.
I don't see what the big deal is. Our names are in this, so why not his?
Please, just don't say his real name, okay?
Already did.
Don't say it again.
We used to prank call
Soulless book.
at random hours, usually right after school, and this guy would answer the phone like an idiot. We weren't even the only ones who prank called him, which means he was getting multiple calls from random numbers and still answered the phone like an idiot.
Okay, we might have called or messaged him a few times, pretending to be people we weren't.
Might have.
All fun and games, right? Wrong. Very wrong. And it only got worse because I sent him a message along the lines of, I think you're cute. And he responded,
Who the hell are you?
but I couldn't possibly tell him who I was, right? So I decided to lie. Tell him I was in his English class. I wasn't. I did tell him some truths, vague truths, like I had 2 X chromosomes, and that I was the average height for a woman in the US. And then when I revealed that I was his secret admirer after much peer pressure from my friend group, his non-response hurt. But I think I understand why he did that. We have our 5-year high school reunion coming up, so I've been thinking about him a lot lately, not to mention the podcast. I wanted to invite him, but I can't seem to find him anywhere. He just disappeared. Maybe it's better that way.
Chapter 2, Skywalker. Maria pulls out another paper before settling in.
If you've ever watched To All the Boys I've Loved Before Too, I know that's not what it's actually called. Laura Jean and Peter Kavinsky go on a carnival date, and it's cute. Although truly, Peter Kavinsky is a piece of trash with absolutely no personality, and Laura Jean would have been way better off with whatever Jordan Fisher's character name was, but I digress. The only reason I bring up Laura Jean and Peter Kavinsky and their little carnival date is because at 17, I invited a coworker I liked to the carnival near my house. It was nothing like in the movie. First, because this carnival was smelly and gross and filled with people I recognized from middle school. Not to mention, not as colorful and bright, just kind of blurry.
Luke and Maria walk side by side.
One time I got a boobs just like those.
He's talking about his ex. For the purposes of this show, we'll call him Luke, because he's sort of obsessed with Star Wars.
We had our whole life planned out. Everything I did was for her. She broke my heart, broke it in half. Now everything reminds me of her. In Star Wars.
I listened attentively. I said very little.
She said she didn't love me anymore. That was her reason for breaking up with me.
I'm sure carnivals are all that romantic outside of movies. Everyone's watching to see who's together and what they're wearing, and did you hear so-and-so just broke up with so-and-so? Given these conditions, naturally, the grapevine is very much alive and thriving, and sometimes it's not so kind.
Look who it is. Luke, I thought you were hibernating or something. I haven't seen you in a minute. Is this your new girl?
No, she's my cousin.
It's the way he said it. Like he would rather die than date someone like me. And then the idea that someone could even fathom that I was his girlfriend was too much to handle. No, someone like Luke could not possibly hang out with someone like me unless we were related, and he was forced to do so out of familial obligation. And I was crushing so hard on him, it broke my pathetic little heart to hear him say those words. I would have preferred,
She's one of my coworkers.
or
She's just a friend.
I would have even preferred,
She's a total stranger. She just came up to me. She won't leave me alone, and I don't even know who she is.
but instead, I got,
She's my cousin.
people complain about being friend zoned, which is ridiculous if you ask me. But have you ever been cousin zoned? It's a whole nother level. Enough of that, let's move on.
Chapter 3, the one actor from that one theater I worked at. Maria grabs another slip of paper.
Sorry, I don't think I can talk about this one. It's too recent. Sorry, I'm sorry. I just can't. I really wish I could, but I can't, okay? I mean, I technically could. There's like nothing preventing me, but I feel like I'm letting all of you down, though.
What should we
Like, I
do?
promised I would talk about my
You
crushes,
stop
and I
there.
decided
She'll
not
just
to,
keep arguing
and that's not
with
fair to you.
herself.
You know? It's not fair at all.
Wait it out.
That's selfish.
What else do you do?
I just want to keep certain
Forget
things
what happened last
that I
time.
just want something for me and only for me. But I don't want you to hate me. Please don't hate me.
Simultaneously, Maria digs through the fishbowl, pulling out scraps of paper, reading them, until coming to the desired one. Chapter 4, Ryan.
Ryan.
How are you doing?
On most days, but not always, but on most days, he'll ask.
How are you doing?
Oh.
And I'll respond, I'm fine. And you? And he'll say,
I'm good.
your fingers look cold. His fingers did look cold. He had fingerless gloves on. In my head, it sounded flirty, and in real life, it sounded like I was stating a fact. Your fingers look cold. When I have a crush, I look for the breadcrumbs, the evidence that they too might feel the same way, you know, the breadcrumbs. And before I left, he said,
If you ever need a break from work, we're here.
and what did I say? Nothing? Maybe a thank you? I never saw him outside of the coffee shop. Never, except on 2 occasions. On the subway. It felt like a sign to have seen him on the subway twice. Even if we didn't acknowledge each other. Even if he walked right past me.
Ryan walks up to Maria.
How are you doing?
What I really want to say is I've been distracted all day at work and I forgot to pack a lunch, so I'm starving right now. Want to know why I'm distracted? It's all your fault. So no, I'm not fine. And one more thing. Before you go, I want to say that seeing you makes my day. It makes my day so much better. I measure my work day around when I get to see you. I get to work early because I want to see you. Oh, one more thing. I think I like you. Oh, and one more thing. And one more thing. And one more thing.
Ryan goes inside and comes out with Maria's drink.
Have a lovely rest of your day.
When I have a crush, I look for the breadcrumbs. The evidence that they too might feel the same way. The breadcrumbs. And there was one on my cup. A smiley face. A small smiley face on the lid of my iced chai. I've been collecting breadcrumbs, and here was another one. A motherload of a crumb. It had to be Ryan. Who else could it be? And so that small little smiley face gave me courage. So I wrote him a letter and then stupidly gave it to him after holding on to it forever. And after a few awkward days of him not acknowledging the letter and me trying to avoid it, well, he came up to me one day and he said something along the lines of,
Your note was sweet.
it was juvenile. It was so juvenile.
No, really. No one's ever written me a letter, but I want to clarify a few things. I don't think you're a nuisance. I'm just the manager, and we're understaffed this winter, so I'm working for 2 people really.
And he said,
Sorry, I'll be back. I just need to attend to that.
and he said,
I was thinking of writing you back on the back of better to have this conversation in person.
And he said,
I'm engaged.
and he said,
I'm getting married next year.
and he said,
No made me blush, and I'm not someone who normally does that.
I don't think he said that. Maybe I made it up. It sounds too good to be true. Maybe I made all of it up. Maybe the only part that's true is when he said,
I'm engaged.
that part is definitely true. It's verbatim, I think. The rest might be fake.
I'm engaged.
And then he left. But shortly after he came back and said,
You're very cute. If I wasn't in love, I might have given you a chance.
I can't quite remember what you said to me anymore. Not the exact words anyway. But I do remember that you were kind to me, and you didn't have to be. How did you manage to say all the right words? I thought I must be in a play. It's too good to be true.
Chapter 5, the director. Maria grabs a slip of paper. She looks out into the audience, eyes landing on none other than redacted number 2. She looks from him to the paper,
We could just put this one back. Hey, Joel. Hi. Actually, let's just, I really need to stop crushing on people who do theater. Moving right along.
Chapter 6, Juan.
When Juan came on my podcast, you know, the one about the crushes, I might have said something along the lines of, "You're the reason I knew I was asexual." No, this might sound like an insult to some, but I meant it as a compliment, truly. Let me set the scene. Juan and I, the open road, Minnesota to Illinois. That's the closest I've ever gotten to a road trip. And sometime during those 6-7 hours, I asked him, completely unprompted, I might add, I asked him, have you ever thought you were asexual? And he responded,
No.
it wasn't a
No.
or a
No.
or a,
No.
it was simply a no. There was no hesitation, no question mark at the end of that statement. That one word, that no, made me question my whole sexuality. It spurred yet another identity crisis. Because I thought my sexuality was internalized Catholicism, and here we were, Juan and I, both this one commonality, Mexican Catholicism. One of us wondering if they were asexual, and the other clearly not. Cancel out the Catholicism, and perhaps, just maybe, I'm just asexual.
Chapter 7, Tender Contract / Eduardo. Maria grabs a slip of paper, reads from it, then folds it up.
His first name was Jesus, but he went by Eduardo, which is good because I don't think I could have dated a Jesus, as my own name is Maria. And the jokes write themselves when your whole family is Catholic and the guy you're dating is Jesus. Anyhow, I met Eduardo on Tinder. Tinder in Minnesota. Bad idea, right? But that's actually where my college roommate, Janet, met her boyfriend, so I was hopeful.
Janet is on her tablet talking to her boyfriend.
I went on a few dates before meeting Eduardo. These dates were mandated by the contract me and my friend and I had drafted and signed, which stated that whoever went on the most dates would win, and I was determined to win because I hate losing.
No, nothing has happened.
And trust me,
here.
I was in the lead.
Well, I'm still
I
looking
was
for an
winning.
apartment for next
And
semester.
then Eduardo and I started dating,
I
and
know
that's
you said you weren't
when I
sure about the
realized
whole timing of these
just how
together,
truly
but we
unprepared
spent
I
so
was
much
to
time
date.
together
But
already,
as I
it
do
wouldn't
with
really
literally
make
all
much
aspects of my
difference.
life, I began conducting research to prepare, particularly around sex positivity. Around this time, I told my roommate,
Give me a second.
what's wrong? I'm embarking on a sex-positive journey.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. At the time, my roommate that I would masturbate sometime in the near future. It went something like this. I think I'm going to try masturbating sometime this week. Probably not today, but like at the end of the week. Okay. I thought a lot about masturbation.
Yeah, I don't want to be here.
And I was needing to masturbate. So I would be ready for the sex that I would eventually have. You know how it is. I needed to figure out what I liked before having it. I ended up breaking up with the guy instead and never did masturbate.
Chapter 8, the Writers Group.
This is a 2-for-1 crush with two of the most amazing people in my orbit, Asher and Greta. They're the people I go to when I'm this close to giving up on writing. Asher and I still send emails back and forth like total dorks, updating each other on our lives. He's usually the first person to see my messy first drafts, writing that often no one else even knows exists. And Greta's been a constant collaborator. As I took my first wobbly baby steps into play reading, Greta was there gushing over my work, making me feel like I had something worthy to say. When I'm with them, I don't feel unfulfilled, like I've missed out on life, which is a feeling I get often. I'm not even talking about sex, I'm talking about all of it. The hand-holding in the hallways, the awkward first kisses, the romantic relationships some of my friends got to experience as teenagers, promposals, homecoming dates, meeting a significant other's family, which sounds absolutely horrible, but it's still an experience I've yet to have. I've definitely romanticized all of that. But there's one memory in particular that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, like I've experienced romance for myself, although differently. For our college graduation, my roommates and I rented a bouncy house. I invited both of my crushes over, and they showed up at different times. Greta having to head back early, and Asher not arriving until later that day. I remember not wanting my time with Greta to end, so I volunteered to walk them home, or more like run alongside her as they biked home. I don't quite remember what we talked about, but I remember the way it felt, exhilarating, intimate even. And when Asher arrived, he stayed until it was dark, only the porch light providing any illumination. We jumped in that bouncy house, just the two of us, and that felt good. It felt great. Which goes to show you, I don't need to have sex to be with someone and feel close with them. We don't even need to be touching. I tend to catalog these experiences like those, the ones others might overlook. I catalog them and hold them close to my heart because they feel meaningful to me. And this moment right here with all of you, this feels meaningful too. You, my friends, are no part of that catalog. Thank you so much.
The end.
Thank you so much for coming. We do have another 2 plays on Thursday. Thank you. We do have another 2 plays on Thursday if you're headed towards that or want to come to that as well. But that's our night. Thank you so much, and good night.